Welcome to this Money Monday edition of Liquid Lunch on NEWSMAX TV. I'm John TABACCO. We're coming to you today live as we do every day, noon to 2 Eastern, from the Question Tequila Studios. We are in downtown New York at our little Liquid Lunch NEWSMAX outpost. And yes, another week starts and we're still on Broadway. We've not been canceled yet, and I hope that continues through the week. Continuing to be on a good path is the Dow Jones just down the street. The New York Stock Exchange this morning is down marginally at down 31 points. Not a big deal to start the week. There was a lot of excitement last week that the trade talks were going to start at phase one. Most of the earnings have been come out for this season. They're okay. Marginal energy shares seem to be down a little bit with some geopolitical fears. But I think that phase one of the trade talks is going to come through. That's going to be a welcome surprise for the markets. We're well above that 27,000, which I've established for a while is the new support level. Some good news out of China trade talks. This thing could be on its way to 30,000. Bitcoin is in another downturn as it broke 10,000 just a couple of weeks ago. Down a bit at 8,500 through 8,000. Look out below. It could be a quick ride down to the 5,000 level, but hopefully we'll gain some support here. Gaining some support in studio today for our legal analysis of the Roger Stone trial, it's David Schoen. He's a distinguished criminal defense attorney and legal analyst. David, thank you for joining us today on Liquid Lunch. Frank and I have been documenting this for some time now. We're good, both friends of Roger Stone. And we feel like he's the odd man out. That the whole Mueller probe ended with no bang, no charges, no obstruction, no collusion. But Roger is now still facing a trial. What's your take on this?
I think this case epitomizes so much of what was wrong with the Mueller so-called investigation from start to finish. The makeup of the Mueller team, as we've said many times, was completely Hillary Clinton sycophants, people who owed their allegiance to her, people who rooted for her. And this case, to me, is the ultimate Hillary Clinton payback. Remember, from the start of the indictment, they talk about hacking of Hillary Clinton's emails. Remember, the prosecutor who presented this case, one of the lead prosecutors on this case, was the member of the Mueller team who represented Hillary Clinton personally in the email investigation. So that epitomizes it to me. And again, what also characterizes the Mueller so-called investigation is the charging of process crimes, nothing of substance. Stone understood that this committee was investigating Russia-related hacking. His charges against him have nothing whatsoever to do with anything Russia-related.
David, I just want to reiterate something that you just said. So we've been tracking this Roger Stone trial from the beginning, since before even he was indicted. And Roger's a friend of mine for 20 years. We go back a ways. But, I'm all for if he committed a crime or if anyone else committed a crime, he should be convicted. But he's charged with obstruction of proceeding. He's charged with witness intimidation. He's charged with lying to Congress. You said the prosecutor in this case was actually Hillary Clinton's personal attorney?
That's right. And clearly, first of all, a number of the Mueller team came from the same law firm, Mueller's law firm, Wilmer Hale. But Jeannie Rhee was the attorney for Hillary Clinton, and specifically with respect to the email investigation on her own server and, the laptop and all of that business that went on for quite a while and really never was resolved, with Hillary never being brought to justice for that.
Okay, and one aspect that has made this case pretty unique is that the federal government or the prosecutors get to say whatever they want as often as they want, and yet Roger Stone is silenced. And this is a guy who's made his living for the last 40 years or so by speaking out about different causes. Now he's banned from speaking out on his own behalf, even on social media. Is that unusual in a case like this?
Not only unusual, I think it's unprecedented, quite frankly. The gag order that the judge in this case issued, it literally is unprecedented. She has prohibited, Judge Jackson, Amy Berman Jackson, an Obama appointee, President Obama appointee, has prohibited not only Roger Stone from commenting publicly about his case, but from commenting publicly about the Mueller investigation, about the judge, and not only Roger Stone. None of Roger Stone's family members, supporters, volunteers can in any way comment negatively about the Mueller investigation or the judge, or post on social media or repost anyone else's post on social media, which also means he's prohibited from doing any investigation on social media, which, as any criminal defense lawyer knows today, is a vitally important resource in preparing a case. So, for example, let's say someone passed along information that was either exculpatory or impeachment information about a witness in the case on social media. Stone's not allowed to have access to that or to then send it to anyone on his team to further investigate. It's unprecedented.
So we here at Liquid Lunch, Frank and I, we know Roger. We also host a national daily cable TV show. So would you say that some of this gag order actually extends to us? That we can't say anything negative about the Mueller probe or Judge Amy Jackson? Like, are we potentially could get in trouble for this, for knowing Roger? We don't communicate with him often, but...
Quite frankly, her order is just that. Quite frankly, her order is just that broad. However, I would love to take the case of someone going after you and what you do for violating the gag order in the case.
So if I were to say that I think Roger Stone did nothing wrong, that the Mueller probe was a complete joke and witch hunt, and this guy is being unfairly charged, you think I could be in jeopardy of being in trouble from Judge Jackson?
Roger Stone could be in jeopardy of having his bail order revoked. And again, I'll take that case all day long. Can you imagine? The public should be outraged by the order, but in prosecuting a case like that, everyone should be more than outraged.
Well, at least, David, I mean, maybe he can't speak out on his own behalf, and maybe the person prosecuting him is the former personal attorney of his political adversary. Maybe the judge is an appointee of another political adversary, but at least he has a nice, balanced jury pool that's representative of the country as a whole, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not so sure about that either, quite frankly. You make a very good point. And listen, besides all of that, let me tell you how vitally important this show is. There's virtually a news blackout on anything that covers that Mr. Stone's side of the equation. People have just distanced themselves from this case. People are scared because of the Mueller investigation, or whatever the answer is. Everyone, again, should want to speak out about what's happening in the Roger Stone case, and specifically about the gag order, and of all of the resources that we're coming down to now that we see were spent on the Mueller investigation for something like this.
Do we have any idea what the taxpayers, all told, have spent on the Mueller probe and on the Stone prosecution?
We only know tens of millions of dollars.
Well,
Sounds
money
like
well spent.
Well, and let's say Frank wanted to go down to cover the trial for a day, and after the show, he were to ask Roger about his new book. He, reissued his book with a foreword from Tucker Carlson. Could Roger be in jeopardy for even talking about his book on television?
He shouldn't be. The order is as broad as can be, but if Roger were to accurately say the book is not about Mueller or about the judge, then that would be fine. But listen, that's the danger of having this kind of broad order. If he's at risk, it chills his speech, having to worry about the risk that he faces as to what could be prosecuted, what could revoke his bail.
So he has virtually no First Amendment rights at this point.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's fair to say.
How often does a court take away someone's First Amendment rights?
Again, I haven't seen it nowhere near to this degree ever before. And remember, this is a judge who, in her career before becoming a judge, was purportedly a civil libertarian, a criminal defense lawyer. Remember, we heard from the Obama administration about the importance of civil liberties and civil rights, while prosecuting more supposed leaks to the media than any other administration, in my understanding.
Wow. Well, very insightful commentary. I want to thank you very much for joining us here on Liquid Lunch.
Thank you very much.
As you noticed when I introduced you, I did not cross out the word distinguished in front of legal analyst, because he's one of the most distinguished guys around, and we're going to keep covering the Roger Stone trial every single day, because if our voice isn't heard on Roger, no one's voice will be heard, thanks to Judge Amy Jackson and the cabal of Clinton followers who have this guy boxed in right now. But we'll keep fighting, and hopefully Roger keeps fighting the good fight too. In my view, Roger Stone did nothing wrong, but hopefully the jury will see it that way too. Hopefully you'll stay right there. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with the guy who's one of the emerging stars on $1 Million Listing. I'm going to talk about the real estate market and everything going on right here in our economy under Donald Trump right after this. Quick break. Liquid Lunch back at you after this.